All right, let's dive into one of the weirdest, most, well, half-baked parts of the entire Naruto universe. I'm talking, of course, about the samurai. Okay, so we all know Naruto is the ninja show, right? But what about samurai? Yeah, they're in there too. And the way the story handles them, it's a wild, inconsistent ride. There's this huge change-up, a retcon that honestly, a lot of people probably just forgot even happened. What's so wild is that the series gives us two, completely different flavors of samurai. And we gotta start with the very first ones we meet, way back in the Land of Waves arc. So let's rewind to the beginning. Version 1, and let's just be real here. They were kind of pathetic. So in chapter 18, we meet these two guys, Zori and Waraji, and the manga literally puts a little box on the page that says, hey, these are samurai. But noble warriors? Not even close. These guys are just scummy goons for hire. I mean, they're murdering heroes and trying to kidnap a kid's mom. Not exactly the samurai code, you know? And you can tell right away what their purpose is in the story. They are just so bad at their jobs. Haku disarms them without even breaking a sweat. And then, get this, they get knocked out cold by a single kick from one of Naruto's shadow clones. We're talking about a rookie Genin's clone here. It's almost comical. So the first impression we get is a complete flip of what you'd expect. Instead of being these awesome rivals to the shinobi, samurai are just cannon fodder, like a cheaper, weaker version of a warrior. It's a pretty interesting idea, right? But spoiler alert, the series just completely drops it. All right, but then fast forward over 400 chapters. Yeah, 400. And Kishimoto just completely pivots, introducing a totally new take on what a samurai is. And that's when we meet the samurai from the Land of Iron. Now, these guys are the real deal, or so it seems. They're this whole organized faction from a neutral, snowy nation. They're honorable, they're all about peace, they've got the full armor getup, and this is a big one, they can channel chakra through their swords. That's something the first guys definitely couldn't do. I mean, look at this difference. It's night and day. We go from dishonorable thugs in beanies to this organized army of peacekeepers in full metal armor. It's a complete recon. They changed everything, their morals, where they come from, and even their basic abilities. And the story really tries to sell us on this new version. Remember the 5 Kage Summit? Sasuke's team is actually nervous about making a move because, as Corinne points out, the place is crawling with samurai and they're worried about reinforcements. So the stage is set, right? These guys are supposed to be a serious threat. So the big question is, do these new and improved samurai actually live up to the hype? Well, the answer comes pretty quick, and it's a big, fat nope. Almost as soon as they're built up, they get torn right back down. A whole platoon of them attack Sasuke, and they all get beaten off-screen. We don't even get to see it. Then, their top general, Mifune, takes a swing at Sasuke, a Sasuke who is exhausted from fighting multiple Kage, mind you, and his attack is just casually blocked. Oof. And this just breaks the world building, doesn't it? If their best warriors and their strongest leader can't even handle one tired ninja, how in the world did the Land of Iron stay a neutral power for so long? Why would any of the great ninja villages respect them or be afraid of them? It just makes no sense. When you really look at it, this whole samurai storyline, both the old version and the new one, really just exists for one single moment in the Fourth Great Ninja War, and it really feels like a case of too little, too late. The only real payoff we ever get is Mifune's fight against the reanimated Hanzō. But who are these guys really? It's a fight between two characters the audience barely knows. We have very little reason to actually be invested in who wins. Yeah, sure, the fight has a kind of cool theme about conviction versus despair, but at the end of the day, it's a huge detour. It takes up so much time in the war arc that could have gone to characters we actually, care about. Where was Rock Lee's big moment? Or Shino's? It feels like a wasted opportunity. You know what's funny? Hanzo himself basically calls out the problem during the fight. He says the world doesn't have a place for samurai anymore. And he's right. It feels so true. They just feel like this leftover idea from a totally different story that got clumsily shoved into a world that's all about ninjas. So what's the conclusion here? The whole samurai faction was just narrative bloat. It was an extra ingredient that just made the story more complicated without adding any real flavor. It was a cool idea maybe, but the execution just fell flat. A total setup with no real payoff. There's a much cleaner way this could have been done. Instead of creating this whole new class of warriors out of thin air, why not just make the Land of Iron a neutral ninja village? Just a village of traditionalists who like swords and armor. You get the exact same story beat, a neutral spot for the summit, but it actually fits with the world we already know. No weird inconsistency. At the end of the day, the samurai were just a cool idea that never got the attention they needed to really work in the Naruto universe. It's a perfect example of a concept with so much potential that just fizzled out. And it kind of makes you think, right? How many other awesome but underdeveloped ideas are just sitting there in the background of our favorite stories?